A person sitting inside his luxury villa in Bangkok was working on his laptop when suddenly from outside, he heard a loud sound of an accident. Unaware that his lavish lifestyle was about to come to an end in just a few minutes, the man left his laptop open and ran outside. A girl was about to say something, but he paid no attention and ran outside. The police had been waiting for this day for several years. It was the morning of July 5, 2017, in Bangkok. The person we are talking about was no ordinary man. He was a multimillionaire who lived a royal life. During the day, luxury. At night, indulgence. For years, he had kept his identity hidden. A small mistake cost him everything: properties, money, wealth, cars, and even his life. But what was that small mistake? And how did the police from 7 countries find the world's most wanted dark web king along with Colbin? Welcome once again to A Story Spot. This is about 2010, when the dark web was gradually rising. The dark web is the other side of the internet, where all kinds of illegal activities take place, from drugs and weapons to giving contracts for target killings. All the black business happens here. Such things happen here that are hard to believe. There is a reason behind why all this happens on the dark web. People involved in illegal activities worldwide want to hide their identities so that they don't get caught by police or law enforcement agencies. And the dark web seemed to be solving this issue for good. Just like we use Google for browsing the normal internet, before 2010, the dark web wasn't so popular. But after that, with the arrival of cryptocurrencies, the problem of making payments for illegal trades was solved. Because it is impossible for authorities to track cryptocurrency, all issues regarding illegal trades on the dark web had been resolved. Contractors' identities were safe, and payments were also secure. Now, only one thing was needed: a good and reputed platform or a dark website. The first dark website was Silk Road, which became very successful in the dark world of the internet. It launched in February 2011, and within a short time, it had more than 100,000 customers. But after 2.5 years, the owner of Silk Road was caught, and the website was shut down. Because this business was in such high demand, many new dark websites were launched within a few days, including Silk Road 2.0 and Evolution. Customers would give their bitcoins to these platforms to buy or sell, and after the purchase, the platform would deduct its commission and give the bitcoins to the seller. Since this was all black business, the website operators often ran off with all the customers' money, shutting down the site. This was called an exit scam. No one knew who they were, and because of the dark web, it was impossible to trace them. When an exit scam happened, drug dealers would simply move to another platform. During the early years of the dark web, there were many scams, exit scams, platform owners getting caught, and hacking was very common. There was a need for a reputable and trusted platform, and it was around this time, in 2014, that a dark website called AlphaBay was launched. No one knew the name or location of the person who launched it. He identified himself only as Alpha02. Initially, only drugs were sold there, but later, other products started being sold too, such as money laundering services and drugs. However, there were some things that were not allowed to be traded on. AlphaBay, child abuse content, or details of stolen Russian bank accounts. Why was this? Perhaps Alpha02 didn't want to mess with Russian law enforcement, or he wanted to show US law enforcement that he was running this from Russia. Within a year, AlphaBay started gaining ground on the dark web. In just 1 year, there were 200,000 customers and more than 40,000 sellers doing their black business in peace. By 2017, there were over 300,000 items listed on AlphaBay, and daily sales were around $4 million. Alpha02, whose identity was still unknown, was earning $800,000 per month from these sales. And soon, he became the undisputed king of the dark web. AlphaBay had become the largest marketplace on the dark web, building trust between dealers and customers. Meanwhile, law enforcement agencies around the world were trying to discover Alpha02's real identity, but they hadn't been successful yet. American investigators wanted to find out AlphaBay's server location to raid the data center and shut the platform down. Maybe this would give them a chance to reach Alpha02 as well. Normally, finding the server location of any website isn't very difficult. But since dark websites can only be accessed through the Tor browser, which hides the actual server location behind random servers around the world, it was impossible for American investigators to trace AlphaBay. So, they started buying drugs as normal users on AlphaBay, hoping that a drug dealer would make a mistake and they could catch him. But this would only catch the dealer, while law enforcement was after Alpha-02, the mastermind. Alpha-02 had been extremely careful over the years, making no mistakes that could give authorities a clue. But then, in 2017, authorities got a lead to reach Alpha-02, an officer from the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, named Robert. Miller was sitting in front of his computer searching for Alpha-02 when suddenly, he received an email. This email contained information about Alpha-02. The email was from an unknown person. The anonymous email stated that Alpha-02 was currently in Bangkok, Thailand. And with this, the person gave a Bitcoin wallet address which was linked to Alpha-02. The investigators began to track the transaction history of the wallet. After a little investigation, they realized that this wallet had made a payment for a flight ticket from Bangkok to Taiwan, booked under the name of Alexandre Cazes. It was the first time in several years that the authorities had a name linked to Alpha-02. But they still weren't sure if this person, Alexandre Cazes, was the real Alpha-02 or not. Because on the dark web, everyone uses aliases and never reveals their true identity. The investigators started looking into Alexandre Cazes. He was a 26-year-old Canadian who had been living in Thailand for several years. He had married a local Thai woman, and their wedding photos were available online. He was living a luxurious life in Thailand, owning several properties and luxury cars. But there was one problem. His bank records didn't match his lifestyle. His official income was very low, but he owned assets worth millions. Now, the investigators were convinced that Alexandre Cazes was indeed Alpha-02. With this, they started preparing for his arrest. On July 5, 2017, Thai police, in collaboration with U.S. authorities, raided Alexandre Cazes' house in Bangkok. At the time of the raid, Cazes was sitting at his desk, working on his laptop, with AlphaBay's website open on the screen. He didn't even get a chance to shut it down. All the evidence was right there in front of the investigators. Cazes was arrested and taken into custody. It seemed that law enforcement had finally caught Alpha-02, the king of the dark web. Now, all that was left was to present him in court and sentence him. But something unexpected happened. Just a few days after his arrest, Alexandre Cazes was found dead in his prison cell. The official report stated that he had committed suicide, but some believe that he was murdered by someone powerful who didn't want him to reveal any secrets about AlphaBay. Whatever the truth may be, the world of the dark web had lost its most infamous figure. After Cazes' death, AlphaBay was shut down by authorities, and billions of dollars worth of illegal trades came to a halt. But the dark web didn't stop. Soon, new platforms emerged, and the illegal business continued as before. The dark web is a place where criminals feel safe, hidden behind the anonymity of the internet. But as the story of Alexandre Cazes shows, no one can stay hidden forever. Law enforcement agencies around the world are constantly working to track down these criminals, and eventually, they get caught. If you want to know more stories about the dark web and how criminals operate in the shadows, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.